Good morning, students. So, I have started with the description of different phyla of invertebrates. I have finished explaining about the phylum Porifera. I have started with Cnidaria, and so I have explained almost half of Cnidaria. I have explained. Okay, I don't know how much you remember or how much you have followed. Okay, let me just give you the gist about Cnidaria. That Cnidarian animals, they are mostly marine animals. They are present in seas and oceans. Okay, and very few are freshwater organisms. So very few Cnidarian animals are freshwater. They live in freshwater, whereas maximum of these, they live in the marine environment, in the seas and the oceans. Now these animals, I told you that they are solitary or colonial. Okay, solitary means what? Living alone. Colonial means what? Living in groups, that I have explained in my last class. So Cnidarian animals, they are either solitary or they are colonial animals. Okay, moreover, they are sedentary or they may be free swimming. Now what is sedentary? Sedentary means fixed at one place. Animals that cannot move from one place to another place, they are called sedentary animals. And so Cnidarian animals, they may be either they may be sedentary or they may be free swimming animals. Example, Hydra. Hydra is a sedentary animal. It is fixed to an object, you see. It is fixed to an object. It cannot move from one place to another place. Whereas the organism here, this is jellyfish. Now this jellyfish, you'll find that it is a free swimming animal. It swims from one place to another place of water. Okay, now other points are like they are diploblastic animals. You know what do you mean by diploblastic animals? Diploblastic animals are the animals which have two layers of cells during their embryonic development. Outer layer, it is called what? Ectoderm. This one red color, you see ectoderm. And the inner layer of cells, it is called what? It is called endoderm. So inner layer, which is blue color, you see here, it is endoderm, and the outer layer, it is called ectoderm. Now moreover, I have also explained to you all previously earlier that between the ectoderm and the endoderm there is a what? A non-cellular layer present. Okay, and that non-cellular layer is called what? It is called mesoglea. So Cnidarian animals are what? They are diploblastic animals. And moreover, they have what kind of organization? They have one kind of symmetry. They have radial symmetry, and moreover, they have a tissue level of organization. Okay, so Cnidarian animals have tissue level of organization. I hope you all remember about these points. I have already explained all these earlier. Next is in case of the Cnidarian animals, they have what? They have a blind sac body plan. Now look at this one. This is Hydra. This is a longitudinal section of Hydra. Inside the body of Hydra, there is a big cavity present, and this big cavity, it is called cylindron, or it is called gastrovascular cavity. It is called cylindron or gastrovascular cavity. Now this cavity, it is lined by what cells? It is lined by endoderm cells. It is lined by endoderm cells. Okay, so this it is called what? Gastrovascular cavity, and this cavity, it helps in nutrition and circulation. So gastrovascular cavity, it helps in nutrition. It provides food materials to the organism, and moreover, what it also helps the animal in circulation. Okay. Now, so moreover, they have a blind sac body plan. So look, this cylindron, it is actually what? It is a gastrovascular cavity. It is a gastrovascular cavity. It is alimentary canal. And look at this alimentary canal. It is having what? It is having one opening at the top, whereas the other side you will find it is closed. It is closed. Okay, so this type of body construction, it is called what? Blind sac body plan. Okay, so it is called blind sac body plan. Okay, now you will also find what? That the body wall. So this one is the body wall. This is the body wall. And these finger-like structures, they are called what? Tentacles. So these finger-like structures are called tentacles, and this constitutes the body wall. Now in the body wall as well as the tentacles, there are, you'll find some special cells present, and those cells that are present in the body wall and the tentacles, they are called what? They are called stinging cells. They are also called, here I have written already, stinging cells, which are also called cnidoblasts. Okay, now these cells are very important cells of the cnidarian animals because they help in defense, they help in offense, as well as they also help in anchorage. They help the animal to get attached to some objects. Okay, so you may get question, what are the stinging cells in the cnidarian animal known as? The stinging cells in cnidarian animals, they are known as a cnidoblast. What are the functions of cnidoblasts? The cnidoblasts, they help in defense, they help in offense, as well as they help in anchorage. Okay, then other important points is that you'll find that this, look at this diagram here. This is the section of sedentary cnidarian, and this is the section of free swimming cnidarian animal. Okay, now in the sedentary cnidarian animal, example hydra, look at the structure, how is it? Whereas in the free swimming cnidarian animals, look at the structure. The sedentary animals, they are tubular in shape, whereas the free swimming animals, they are umbrella like shape. Okay, so they are umbrella like shape. So this much you remember. Then after that, I have also explained that digestion in case of the cnidarian animals, it is both extracellular digestion as well as intracellular digestion. Okay, now what is the meaning of extracellular digestion? When digestion will take place outside the cells. When digestion will take place outside the cells, it is called extracellular digestion. And when digestion will take place inside the cell, it is called what? Intracellular digestion. So in case of the cnidarian animals, it is seen what? That the digestion takes place both extracellularly as well as intracellularly. Okay. Now these cnidarian animals, you'll find that they exhibit two different forms. Just now I have said they may be either tubular or they may be umbrella shaped. The tubular cnidarians, they are called what? Polyps. And the umbrella shaped cnidarians, they are called medusa. Okay. So cnidarian animals, they exhibit two different body forms. And what are the two different body forms? Polyp and medusa. Polyp, it is cylindrical, it is tubular in shape, it is sessile, it is fixed to an object. It is fixed to an object. Okay. Whereas what will you find? That the medusa is umbrella like and it is free swimming. Okay. Now there is one cnidarian animal which exhibits both the forms. which exhibits both the forms. Example is Obelia. So in Obelia is a cnidarian animal, and this cnidarian animal, it exists in, or it has two body forms. One is polyp, the other is medulla. But usually you will find the cnidarian animal, they may be either polyp or they may be medusa. But Obelia, it has both polyp form as well as medusa form. Now polyp form, it constitutes the asexual stage, whereas the medusa constitutes the sexual stage. Okay, so polyp, asexual stage, reproduction, it takes place by budding, but in case of medusa, the reproduction takes place by gametes. Okay, now Obelia animal, just now I told you, it exists or it has two forms, polyp and medusa. Okay, so these animals, they exhibit what? Alternation of generation. So these animals, they exhibit what? Alternation of generation, which is also called metagenesis. So you may get a question that name one cnidarian animal which exhibit metagenesis or alternation of generation. You are going to write what? Obelia. So Obelia exhibits metagenesis. Metagenesis means alternation of generation. Okay, so these animals you will find there will be polyp and medusa present. Polyp will reproduce by asexual means to produce medusa, and medusa will produce polyp by means of sexual reproduction. I am repeating once again. Polyp will reproduce asexually to produce medusa, and medusa will reproduce sexually to produce polyp. So this kind of generation, or this kind of life history, it is called alternation of generation. Polyp will change to medusa, medusa will change to polyp, and this is called what? Metagenesis. Okay, so I hope you have understood. So this Obelia animal, it shows what? It shows polymorphism. So why Obelia shows polymorphism? Why? Because it has both polyp and medusa. Polyp will asexually, it will produce medusa by budding, and medusa will produce sexually the polyps by means of what? By means of the gametes. Okay, so I hope you have understood about this. Now there are some cnidarian animals which are called corals. You have heard the name. You have heard the name corals. So CORALS, corals. Okay, so you have heard the name of corals. Now there are some cnidarians, example corals. They have a skeleton which is made up of calcium carbonate. Okay, so corals, these are also cnidarian animals, and they have the skeleton which is made up of calcium carbonate. Okay, so when these corals, they die, their calcium carbonate present in their body, they get deposited. Is it clear? And ultimately the skeletons of the corals, after getting deposited, they form islands in the oceans, and those islands are called what? Coral islands. Is it clear? So this is very, very interesting. There are some cnidarian animals called corals. Their body is made up of what? Calcium carbonate. So when they die, calcium carbonate get deposited at the bottom of the ocean. So like this, when many corals will go on dying, their calcium carbonate covering will get deposited, and like this, accumulation of the calcium carbonate of the corals leads to formation of islands in the oceans, in the seas, and those islands are called what? They are called coral islands. Is it clear? So this is very interesting how the corals, they can form islands. So animals, already I have told you that they can produce asexually, they can produce sexually also. Asexually, they produce by budding, it is also said as fission, and sexually they produce by means of the gametes. Okay, and moreover they may be hermaphrodite. Okay, so they may be hermaphrodite. Now what do you mean by hermaphrodite animals? When both the sex organs are present in the same individual. When both the sex organs are present in the same individual, then those animals are called what? They are called hermaphrodite animals. Okay, so another name for hermaphrodite is what? It is called bisexual. So having both the sex organs in the same individual is called hermaphrodite animal or bisexual animal. Okay, and their development, it is indirect development, it is not direct development. So what do you mean by indirect development? So during the life history of an individual, when there will be larva stage present, so when larva stages are present during the life cycle of an animal, then that kind of development, it is called what? It is called the indirect development. Okay, so Cnidarian animals, their development is indirect, and they have a larva stage, and the name of that larva is called what? Planula larva. So very important, you may get a question, what is the larva of the Cnidarians called? The larva of the Cnidarians, they are called Planula larva. So the larva of the Cnidarians are called what? Planula. They are called Planula larva. Okay, so this much about the Cnidarian animals. I hope all of you have understood about it. Now let us study now about the Ctenophora animals. So Ctenophora animals, these animals, they are completely this phylum, it is a completely new phylum that has been added between, or that has been added after Cnidaria. So previously Ctenophora, this was not present in the classification. So but now this has been added after what? After Cnidarian animal. Okay, so Ctenophora animals, these animals are commonly called what? They are called comb jellies. So they are called comb jellies. So these animals are called comb jellies, or they are also called sea walnuts. They are called sea walnuts. They appear just like walnut. They look just like walnut. And they are present in the oceans. They are completely marine. So for this reason, they are called sea walnuts, or they are called comb jellies. Now why the name comb jellies? Look at this structure. These lines that I have drawn, dark lines that I have drawn, these are some comb like structures. They are called comb plates. Look at this arrow mark, comb plates. Okay, so as because they have comb like structures on their body, so for this reason they are called comb jellies. They look just like walnut. They are present in the sea water. They are present in the ocean. So for this reason they are called sea walnuts. Okay, so these animals are completely, they are exclusively marine animals. They are not present in the sea, in the fresh water. They are present only in the marine water. Okay, then the next point is that they have transparent and flat bodies. So look at this structure. So this structure is completely transparent. It is completely transparent, and moreover it is flat. Okay, so the structure is completely transparent and flat. Moreover, They are diploblastic animals. You already know what do you mean by diploblastic animals. The animals which have two layers of cells during the embryonic development are called diploblastic animals. So ctenophora animals, they are what animals? They are diploblastic animals, and moreover they show tissue level of organization. So they are diploblastic animals and they show tissue level of organization. What is the meaning of this? That in their body tissues are present, different kinds of tissues are present, organs are not present, or tissues are present. So they have tissue level of organization. Okay.